Bible Study. Happy Father Dad's Day.
Merry Father Dad's
Out
Day
there.
to you too.
Yes, to all of the dads listening to this. And our dad co-host, Scott. Happy Father's Day.
Thank you.
Would you consider yourself a father or a dad?
Or a father dad.
Dad, father.
Ah, the dad father.
Daddy God.
The dead father. I'll make you.
Father.
What do dads make?
I'll make you,
ride a bike you can't refuse.
I was imagining a little kid being like, I'll make you macaroni glued to a piece of paper that you can't refuse.
Dad, father. You can't refuse a request on Dad Father's Day.
Are you guys doing anything special for Father Dad's Day?
Hopefully watching Father Dad 2.
Is there a sequel?
Only.
No.
No.
Hopefully after this episode.
Maybe I'll watch my family watch the whole Godfather trilogy with me.
While you sit in a chair in front of the TV facing them while they watch it.
I chain smoke
What's
cigars.
crazy is because this comes out on Sunday, whatever you say you're doing now, we can fact check live.
That's a good point.
Wow.
That's a good point.
Somehow.
We'll work it out.
Yeah.
You could stand in front of the TV while The Godfather's playing. That would be cool. That's what dads like to do, right? They like to stand and watch
They
the
like
TV.
to watch. I have a very vivid memory of playing Guitar Hero in high school in my room by myself and playing like an Allman Brothers song. My dad like heard the Allman Brothers from the other room and he came like quick. He didn't run, but he walked very quickly into the room and he was like, "What is this?" And then just stood in front of the TV while I'm like trying to play. And I was like, "Get out of the way." He just like stood there staring at it like a fucking monkey that saw himself in the mirror or something.
As always, I'm Ash here with my co-hosts.
Scott.
And Julian.
And as we like to do on Boys Bible Study, you know, there's a Christian film for every occasion. And this being Father's Day, Scott had in the chamber that we should finally watch a film by Kenya Cagle, who this past year has become one of our favorite filmmakers.
Yeah.
I know we have a lot of people we say that about, but it's for a good reason.
Good. This guy's going places.
He really is.
This guy is really. Quick aside, I saw one of the early screenings of Parasite in the U.S. and they had the whole cast there, and the guy who plays the father, I forget who. He's very famous.
Didn't he pass away?
What?
Sorry, go on.
No, the guy who plays the dad of the poor family.
Oh no, it was the guy who played the dad of the rich family.
Oh, okay.
Passed away.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
the guy who plays the dad of the poor family. Very famous. I don't know his name because I'm xenophobic, but
right.
He is very famous actor in Korea, South Korea specifically. And the like moderator was like this old like Hollywood guy, and he like introduced him, and he was just like, "Now this is a guy he's an up and coming star who you're going to be hearing a lot about in the future." And he like introduced him. That's just like really stuck with me that like you just introduced like a very famous like 50-year-old actor as like an
most famous
up-and-coming
actor.
star.
Yeah.
No, America's the only country that exists. It doesn't matter.
No, when you look up his profile, the second sentence says, "Considered one of the best actors of the 21st century."
Wow. Well, Kenya Cagle is that to us.
Yes.
A very experienced filmmaker who's honestly, he's been making stuff for a couple decades now and seemingly successfully, according to an article that Scott found that we might talk about. But we discovered him recently. We watched The Boy Who Saw Christ, a wonderful film about a young boy who witnesses Christ in a church bathroom, tells his parents, and his parents immediately believe he was molested, and it tears their family apart. And then following that, we watched My King, a sort of romance drama about, I barely even remember at this point, like an evil boss who's the guy's mother who like plays mind games with them at work to try to destroy their relationship.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is a man who is skilled at putting together very dense plots of like warring characters, psychological terrorism, and, you know, things of this nature. We were captivated by the title of the film, Father Dad. And so we thought, what a great opportunity to delve further into Mr. Cagle's work.
Yes, exactly. And I wanted us to watch more Kenya Cagle, including Father Dad, immediately, but I figured it was best to save for the proper occasion, which is making me mad once the reminder came up, because I actually had one for Mother's Day too, but I set the reminder wrong.
Oh, that's
I like didn't put the date in, so it's just like a blank, like I don't know when it would ever come up reminder.
That's too bad. Although, hey, we did the basket. Oh wait, was it Mother's Day last week?
No.
Oh shit, never mind.
Oh shit, when is Mother's Day? That was like months ago, right?
Yeah, it was
months
ago.
It was a
false alarm
few
voice.
weeks
my
ago.
God.
Yeah.
May
False alarm
11th.
voice.
Oh, jeez.
False alarm, boys.
Yeah.
But hey, last week we were very thematic. We of course did the basket to celebrate NBA Finals.
Yes.
Which so far was a more exciting ending than anything that's happened in the NBA Finals, and I imagine is still true to this day, a few days after we've recorded.
Yes, but this is Father Dad, and y'all, this is one of the most insane movies we've ever watched for Boys Bible Study. Is that true?
I think so.
It was pretty wild.
No, I was watching with my friend Devin, and we were hooting and hollering. We were drinking beers, and we were yelling at the TV while watching this movie. It was like a treat. We rewind, even in a 2-hour Christian movie, which, I mean, for us, that's a very long movie. I mean, we've watched movies shorter than that feel like eternity.
Yeah.
For a 2-hour Christian movie, Devin and I were like rewinding to hear lines multiple times and like pausing so we could get screenshots and, you know, like film clips from the movie to post. We were having a great time watching this one.
Fucking psychotic.
Yeah, I
Fucking
definitely rewound a few times
film.
too, despite the 2-hour runtime.
Yeah. I was listening on AirPods in the other room for like a tiny bit of it when I had to like take care of something in the other room. Mm-hmm. And I just heard the fucking construction scene fight and had to like rewind.
I'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
It's like sometimes you can kind of figure out what is going on based on like the audio from a scene, and I was just like completely lost.
Like, what?
All of a sudden they're just like,
what? Oh my god, there are so many scenes to hit. Also, I genuinely fear that if we tried to cover the plot of this film from beginning to end, this would be like a 4-hour long episode. Like it would take twice as long as the movie itself because it's so densely packed. Mm-hmm. There's so many characters, so much stuff happens. There's so many funny scenes. And I really want to tell the world about this movie. I think it's bigger than Father's Day.
Yeah.
Because it's Father Dad.
Yeah.
So where should we start?
The plot is pretty simple, though. I guess we could just say what the plot is really quickly.
Is
and
it?
Then just talk. I think so.
I guess
well,
the grand arc. The grand
yeah,
arc. The grand arc of the plot. Sure. Please. Get us started.
We have a loving family. Right. Almost immediately in the movie, the mom of this loving family gets a phone call saying that from another woman who says, your husband's been cheating on you with me.
Wow.
She actually drops an F-bomb. She says, I've been fucking your husband.
I completely forgot about this part. I feel like it was not explored to the fullest.
It was. You have to have a lot of memory in this movie.
Yeah, so much happens.
Characters recur, come back. A character will scream at a woman on a phone, and then an hour and 15 minutes later will proudly announce that she's like entering rehab.
Yes.
Actually, those are two different women. I just to say the names of these characters, Madge Brown. Madge is the lead of this film, and she gets a call from Wanda saying, "Madge Brown, my name's Wanda." Oh, she says, and I quote, talking about Madge's husband, "Every time you kiss him, you're tasting my inner body parts."
Oh. What does she say about his uncircumcised cock?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's how she knows.
She said he can't screw with his uncircumcised ass.
Right.
Yeah, this woman is, obviously she has the evidence. She's proving to Madge that she's not just a prank caller. She's naming intimate details about her husband, which I was literally yelling at the TV. I mean, it's a 50-50 chance. And then as soon as I said that, her husband said, "It's a 50-50 chance." So that's just some brilliant screenwriting by Kenya Cagle.
Did they ever explain why Wanda was calling in the first place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they did.
God damn, I missed so much in this
Well,
movie.
it happens quickly, but the briefest summary is that this entire thing, spoilers, but that's why you're listening to the show. This entire thing is a conspiracy orchestrated by Madge's ex-lover.
Right. That's
and the
what I
father of her
figured.
children.
But
Yes, they all worked for
I
him.
only remember the child abuse thing was.
Right. That's a big thing. But they all worked for him. And there were references to that. They came up very quickly. And frequently people were dressed and had completely different hairstyles.
Yeah.
And
also, the sound is not Kenya Cagle's greatest strength.
No.
No.
There were no subtitles.
And no subtitles.
It was not well mixed. That's the first time you've heard that here, but I was riding the volume a bit.
The scenes where the daughter was like shooting a gun to play video games, the gunshots were like 3 times louder than the rest of the movie. And all the dialogue was like terribly EQ'd and like all over the place.
Yeah, I thought I had like another tab open on my. I thought I had like a casino online gambling website open in the background.
Oh yeah, when
scenes
the
where
first
the
time,
child was playing video games.
Yes, the first time she was shooting, I got up and looked in the other room, and then was like, "Oh, it is the TV."
What's the white husband's name?
He looked so funny. He looked like Eugene Merman.
They should cast Eugene Merman in the remake of this when Kenny Cagle gets his script bought by what's his name, Luca Guadagnino. He should cast Eugene Merman in this.
And then the 2 dads will fall in love.
Yes, finally.
Yeah.
Man, I'm trying to find the dad's name now. Top billed cast on IMDb. I'm not seeing it.
Is it Greg? It may not be. I literally didn't write this down. I completely forgot.
Maybe it was Greg.
There was a lot of guys in this movie. This is a real ensemble piece. I mean, if I just have to call him the white husband for the rest of the movie, then whatever.
He's probably Greg. Whatever.
Well, the fact is that this call from Wanda has greatly disturbed Madge. And it's, even though she doesn't want to believe it, she has no reason to believe her husband has been unfaithful. The details disturb her, and it is causing problems. She ends up kicking her husband out. They have to negotiate custody of the kids, but nothing could prepare her for the curveball that life is about to throw at her.
And when she comes to tell her husband that she found out too, what she thinks she knows, she goes straight into his big business meeting and
Oh yeah.
The husband smoothly says, "Just carry on with the meeting, please. I'll be back in a couple hours." She's like flipping out at him, like patting her on the head as he's going out the door. It's like, never mind.
That must happen at that place all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Kenya Cagle law or business office. Honestly, crazier shit has happened at the workplaces in Kenya Cagle movies.
That's true. I mean,
for all we know, they were probably like, well, this guy's mom is probably behind all this.
Yeah. And My King is all about psychological terrorism in the workplace.
Yeah.
There's the scene where every employee has to come in one by one to beg for their job. Lots going on. But
yeah, that movie's so good.
But
yeah,
I
like you said,
way better. But
like you said, she kicks him out, and somebody else shows up shortly thereafter, and it's her ex. Do we know what he went to jail for?
Oh,
yes. He went to jail for attempted murder.
It's crazy. Every question we have, there is an answer to.
Yeah.
This might be the only time we've watched a movie where we have all these loose end questions, and they're there. They
are in the movie.
This is a very dense tome.
It really is. I mean, it's 2 hours long, but it actually makes the use of its 2 hours.
Yeah.
It answers questions and packs in information. He went to jail for attempted murder. I don't know if it was of her or of someone else, but he was abusive to her in the past. He fathers her 2 children. Her current husband is the dad who stepped up. The kids reveal at the end of the movie, they call her new husband Father Dad. That's where we get the title of this movie.
Mm-hmm.
We get this title of this movie because that is what Madge's kids call her new husband who stepped up. They call him Father Dad. Just insane. It makes no sense.
Like, do you think they're calling their other dad Father, and they were like didn't know what to say, and so they just added Dad on?
Your guess is as good as mine, frankly. But they don't know their real father basically at all. His name is Lucius. And she makes a joke about him. She calls him Lucius Satan because it sounds similar to his real last name, which I don't remember. Santana, right.
Yeah. Lucius Santana. That is a wild name.
I mean, yeah.
I love the way Kenya Cagle constructs a story, which is you come up with a pretty simple plot, and then you are like, I have 2 hours to make this as complicated as possible, but I cannot change the log line.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true. Yeah, he has a way, like, he definitely does, like, additive storytelling.
Yeah.
But he is better at it than most DIY filmmakers. I mean, we've talked about on the show how, like, one of the biggest pitfalls of DIY filmmakers is you just, like, make up stuff as you go along. For instance, our friends and associates who we reference all the time, Three Angels Power, the trio of 3 sisters who are Canadian filmmakers, love their movies, but each scene is clearly like they wrote a scene and then they wrote another scene and they just kept adding chronologically as the scripts went on.
I have an update.
Yes.
Ooh.
The film Chi-Ann Blaze of Fury is halfway done.
Halfway
edited.
done.
So we're looking at a release date of, I think, 2028.
What?
Bear in mind, this movie will probably be 4 or 5 hours long.
But it's just crazy because, like, now in the cast, there's like at least one, if not more, people that I don't talk to anymore, like of our friends, and like, you know, a cast member of ours who like sadly passed away, and like all this stuff.
Multiple
so it's like,
cast members have passed away that
on
were in that
their
film.
side too, right?
Yeah.
So they're making this fucking movie that's taking them 10 years to make.
It's crazy.
And like the world is just so different from when they started it, from when they're gonna finish it. It's like it's gonna be like
it's
Megalopolis.
a fucking time capsule.
Like what?
I'll probably cry when I watch it.
I probably will too.
It was before coronavirus that we started this movie.
Yeah.
We shot all our scenes in one day.
Yeah, we did our damn work.
No,
we
2
shoot
days.
our-
2 days. There was an added scene.
Yeah.
Can we shoot our same scenes again in like 2 years and then have them have us age during the scenes? Like wear the same clothes.
So
Remember when they tried to talk us into like filming a web series for them? Do you remember that?
I
They were
don't
like, one of the
remember.
characters, we want to have like a web series and we
We're
want
like,
your help. And it
"Yo,
was just
we're
like,
not
you
doing
want
a
us to
web
do it
series."
for you.
We're the fucking outsourced production company. I mean, we put ourselves in that position. But it's like, love them, love what they do. They're about to make a 6-hour-long opera. They're about to be like the Bella Tarr of like of Cornwall, Ontario, Canada. But you know, meanwhile, Kenya Cagle, he puts it all in and he ties up the loose ends. And like, yeah, it might be like fucking insane. But as you said, Julian, like there are actually answers to the questions.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of impressing myself with my recall of them right now. I guess I absorbed. Me and Devin were on the edge of our seats. Honestly, we were locked in watching this movie. Yeah, Lucius is back. He's still a piece of shit. Kenya Cagle is very humanizing. He shows the scenes of Lucius where Lucius, you can actually tell that there's a part of Lucius who wants to change, who wants to pretend that he can come out of jail reformed, be a father, be there for his kids. But he can't.
Mm-hmm.
He has very poor impulse control. You know, he has a violent tendency. He's very self-centered. He's just like a textbook narcissist.
Yeah.
It's an interesting character.
I honestly did not know where this film was going to go. Number one, because of the filmmaker, and number two, because of, you know, the three-dimensional portrait it was portraying of these characters.
Right. I mean, I had a feeling it would get into sexual dysfunction only because his film called The Boy Who Saw Christ is only about child molestation.
Yes.
The whole movie is just about child molestation.
Nothing is sacred to Kenya Cagle.
He goes there.
Yeah.
I guess I'm segueing into, I want to bring up, this is kind of just a detail in the film. It's not chronological really, but I want to bring up that there is an ongoing plot theme that Lucius and all of his buddies from prison, that in prison they were all doing gay stuff with each other. There's a scene that I took like a cell phone video of. I think it's when they're in the bar talking. And one of Lucius's older friends says something to him like, you need to get yourself a girl. You know, all that stuff we did together in prison, that didn't mean anything.
Was this his friend
what?
Dime Piece?
Dime Piece was the younger one.
Oh, okay.
There were two guys. I can't remember what the older one was. I kept calling him Unk the whole time I was watching. I was like, Unk? But I don't actually remember his name.
It doesn't count when you're in prison.
Dime Piece was the guy. No, it doesn't count. There's different rules.
Yeah.
We learned this on The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Many of us millennials learned this for the first time on The Sopranos. And some of us ignored this rule, but we still learned it then. And Kenya Cagle is rehashing it for us. But they just keep fucking alluding to this detail. Just when I think like, what? I think they're going to give it up. And then like later in the movie, Lucius will talking about having sex with a woman. And then he'll be like, and I made some men in prison scream my name like that too.
Ooh.
And it's like, what the hell?
He's good.
He's
good
good.
at what he does.
He's slanging it. You know, meanwhile, we watched that Norman Mailer movie, Tough Guys Don't Dance. And like 5 minutes into the movie, the guy was like, I stood up straight in prison. Nobody ever made me a punk. And the other actor's like, good for you. I wouldn't have asked. But Lucius is just like, no, I was a top in prison.
And I'm proud of it. They say it's only gay if you take it.
That's what they say.
I didn't come up with that. Those are the rules.
That's in the Bible.
The whole thing is a mystery to me. I'm just learning the rules.
I'm reading the manual before.
Observer.
Yeah.
I want to rewatch Tough Guys Don't Dance.
Oh man, we just watched it for the first time, Scott. I was very impressed with it.
It's great, right?
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh God, oh man, oh God, oh man.
Oh yeah. That was the only clip I'd ever seen, probably because of Everything Is Terrible. I'm pretty sure you guys use that in a montage.
Yeah, I put that in something.
Yeah.
Okay, that tracks that it was you. I could have guessed.
Found the guilty party.
But there's so many other good lines too. Like when I'm blanking on the actress's name, Deborah or something, goes, my pussy hairs were golden brown, or they were golden blonde, until I scorched them off with the football team. So insane. But what happens in Nelson Father Dad?
Father Dad is in trouble because he has been pushed out of his house by, it turns out, the ex who's been planning this for a year. His friend Dimepiece got out a year early and got right to work for him. And Wanda is a plant. And Dimepiece was doing good spy work for him. And that's how he was able to pull this off. And as he's revealing some of this to, I forget who it is at first who he's revealing it to. But we learn that he has pulled like the main modern Lifetime move, which is that, and this came out before all those movies, which is that Lucius has had Dimepiece set up video cameras throughout his family's house. And so he's been able to like spy in on this from minute one out of prison.
I love the plot twist that there are just video cameras installed in every room.
Yeah.
In this family's house. And like Lucius talks about how he like watches them like have sex and stuff like that. It's so crazy.
It has like, it's like proto like that type of Lifetime movie, which they were not making in 2006 yet. And also kind of proto like how C-Tom talks sometime. Cause in, I thought the other two that we covered for this podcast were very C-Tommy. But I was like, oh, but those came out after C-Tom movies, of course. Not that, you know, in my head, it's like he saw the C-Tom movies, even though that's ridiculous. But
yeah, he absolutely never did.
Now in the delusional place in my head, it's flipped around because this came out in 2006. All those C-Tom movies are like 2011.
Yeah, Kenya Cagle, he had the pulse. But, you know, it's funny because I don't, and I know you're not saying this, but it's like, while it's doubtful that Kenya Cagle and C-Tom were aware of each other's work, mostly because only a handful of people could tell you who C-Tom or Kenya Cagle even were.
Yeah.
There is like DIY filmmaking will tap into like a zeitgeist of its era without knowing that's what it's doing. Like, I can't really explain any better than that. It's just like you can take the temperature of an era by seeing what insane DIY films are being made during it. Trends that will not necessarily line up to Hollywood, but they'll all kind of share. And yeah, the idea of like a character spying on another character by hiring someone to install cameras in their house. Meanwhile, the house in question is like, you know, whoever will let them film in it. There's just like no space for like a fucking high tech like AV system. Like, how would you set that up in 2006?
Timepiece is good.
Timepiece is good.
Yeah, that's why he's friends with her.
Well, Dimepiece's guy, Shaniqua is his. There's Shaniqua and there's Wanda. Those are Lucius's female associates. So Wanda is the one who calls Madge on the phone, but Shaniqua is the one who Lucius hires a couple of his friends to mug the white husband to steal his wedding band and just to further like humiliate him. And Shaniqua is the woman who she's like having the husband beat up and she's going, fuck your wife. And then an hour and 15 minutes into the movie, there's a scene out of nowhere with Shaniqua where she looks good and she's like, I'm going to rehab. I'm going to get off the crack for good. Mind you, she's not off the crack yet. She's just already dressing better because she's made the decision that she's going to get off the crack. And basically she reveals that after she tried to mug that white guy, those are her words, she like heard a voice from God and it encouraged her to get saved. So just by, encountering this faithful husband, that was enough to get Shaniqua off the crack and get her saved. So, hey, pretty cool.
Is she the person who said, like in passing, "Oh, I'm about to get a record deal," as well?
So that was Janice.
Oh, that was Janice.
So that was
right.
Janice. Janice is Madge's friend or neighbor, I believe, who's, they're about the same age. She's her friend. She's very good looking, great body. She's a singer. She's doing a club tour and she's about to have a record deal. And she's really into Lucius. She sees Lucius like standing on Madge's porch, like looking through the windows, and is like, "Ooh, he cute," and wants to get with him.
What was the song she sang in the bar?
I don't remember.
Keep your health or something.
Oh yeah, that was a good scene.
That was a great scene, though. They were in a club. Obviously, it's a DIY set piece, but it had like a clear door and it was just like a plain room with like drywall on the walls.
It was like a diner during the day or something.
Yeah.
It was like totally bright in there.
Right. Oh man. Yeah, even the opening shot of this movie was so blown out. I like laughed out loud in the first second because of that. It's like, this is already awesome.
I mean, it was supposed to be a club, but it was like, you would only know that if somebody told you.
Yes.
This is a club.
Yeah, it looked like the David Lynch film Inland Empire at times.
Yeah.
Because it was like digital cinematography. It's about the same year, I think. It was like digital cinematography and like the light was super blown out artistically.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like early enough that it was digital, but still 4:3.
Right. Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, same year as Inland Empire, 2006.
Whoa.
Great year for film. Yeah, we have, quite a constellation of people in this film.
That's 3 hours and it is way more loose ends.
I know, yeah. Can't ask me who a different character in Inland Empire is. I couldn't do it. This movie is like, oh, that's Janice. Bringing up Janice is interesting because, Janice is the one who Lucius like reveals his entire evil plan to. Honestly, to such an extent that I thought Janice was like fucking him just to get the plan out of him.
Yeah.
Because there's a scene where like he's fucking Janice and Janice is like, I'll be your sex slave for the night if you tell me how you learned about Madge's life. And he was like, okay, well, I know computers back to front. So I photoshopped Madge's husband's head on other guys' bodies. So he like looked up like photos of naked white men and like photoshopped Madge's husband on them. This guy a little fruity. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I thought that too, Ash. When the way she was
Probably
asking,
why he's
I was
so
like,
angry.
oh, she's in on it. She's doing some recon here. I guess I missed that part.
Like for Madge.
Yeah.
But she was not. Like she remains on Lucius's side like almost till the end in the climactic scene where she's jumped by several 12-year-old boys. Which we'll get into a little later in full, but it's pretty funny. I feel like what we could talk about next is that in order to further tear apart, so Lucius at this point is extremely jealous of Madge's new husband. Madge makes it quite clear to him that despite he's out, there's no way she's going back to him. He was abusive. She should move, he should move on. Yeah. But he just can't get her out of her mind. Out of his mind, and he pulls out every stop possible to tear apart the family. He wins the trust of the older daughter. I believe her name is Coralie, and he puts Coralie up to claiming that her new father sexually abused her by spanking her.
Yeah,
which causes a visit from social services. And the children taken away to be eventually awarded custody to Lucius's mother, who's a character in the film. I used to watch a lot of Dr. Phil. This happens all the time.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
Like every other Dr. Phil
The
episode
hidden
is like
pandemic.
a kid lying about being sexually abused so that their parents get arrested.
Wow.
It's crazy. It happens all the time. By all the time, I mean it's self-selected for families that end up on Dr. Phil.
Right.
But they have new families every week.
Yeah.
Like these people don't come from nowhere.
And these are just the ones you hear about.
That's a really good point.
Yeah. How did they resolve it on Dr. Phil?
It could be many ways. They sometimes do lie detector tests.
To a child?
No, it's to the grown-ups.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that makes more sense.
Or they just talk about, like, sometimes it's not, like, actively happening, but, like, Dr. Phil will be like, and then she called social services, say she'd been abused. Okay.
What a fucking psycho show on
I
television.
know. Yeah, I used to watch it all the time. I don't know why.
I went in person.
You went to his son's party.
Oh, yeah, I didn't get to go to that
I
party.
did.
Ash did that.
I did. No, that was, yes, our friend. Dr. Phil's son, Jordan, he has two sons. His younger son, Jordan, is a found footage comedy fan and guest listed friend of the show, Grimy Ghost, because he followed Grimy Ghost on Instagram. And he allowed Grimy Ghost to bring a couple plus ones. And I was one of them. And yeah, it was a pretty nondescript, boring
Bohemian
occasion.
Grove.
I was very, there was a grilled cheese truck.
Really?
It's like Bohemian Grove. Yeah.
That sounds good.
And there was an open bar. I was broke at the time. And I just remember not the people there were dressed very nicely, but I felt so poor.
Yeah.
Cause like everyone was wearing like a long t-shirt that cost like $750.
Drop crotch pants.
Possibly. And I was like, I remember being like, oh fuck, I haven't done laundry and like my sweater has holes in it. And like, anyway, I just remember feeling incredibly poor at that party and then getting drunk and then his band performed and they did a cover of All Star by Smash Mouth.
Wow.
And we ate grilled cheese.
And society has been in decay ever since.
Yeah. That was before COVID.
That was the Nero moment.
Mm.
Rome has been burning ever since.
It's true. It's true. Well,
Dr. Phil.
let's see. Dr. Phil. So Coralie was not molested. And she later confides this in Lucius's mother. This is like in the Lucius's mother section of the film
Yeah.
where she's in the film a lot.
There was
Yeah.
the CPA hearing.
Yeah, which is very
or
funny.
CPS hearing, not CPA.
Yeah.
CPS hearing. And that's where it's, the grandmother gets to keep the custody of the children.
Yes.
And should we talk about one of the most disturbing, probably the most disturbing moment in the film?
Please.
When the children find the channel on Lucius's TV at his mother's house that allows him to watch the hidden cameras inside the mother's house, inside Madge's house.
Right.
And they witness a brutal attempted rape. Possibly, full. I forget if it stopped or not.
In my head, it was like a rape.
I think it was. Yeah, I forget. There was a lot of like fake outs of whether or not it was going to go through. But they basically watched like an irreversible-esque sexual assault of their mother.
Of their mother by their biological father.
Yeah.
In their father's TV with their grandmother.
The grandmother, who is doing a terrible, terrible job of getting them to stop watching it. She just keeps saying, like, why are you watching this? Go outside. Go outside. They're watching this happen live. And they say, we need to call the police. And the grandma says, we'll call the police as soon as you stop watching this. It's like, lady, call the police right now.
Just call the police. Just call the police. And they somehow, then the grandma is like, pack your things. And it takes them, 3 hours to fucking pack their suitcases because like Lucius comes home, right as the grandmother's trying to lead them out, which involves a struggle and questioning and eventually a chase scene where Lucius's girlfriend Janice is involved, who's Madge's neighbor.
Yeah.
That part was funny too, because he's like, go catch them. And she's like, what? No, I'm not doing that. And then they argue, and then she does go after them.
Yes, she does. Unfortunately, however, for Janice and for Lucius, Lucius earlier in the movie has drawn the ire of several neighborhood kids by telling his daughters that they can't play with them because some of those kids are delinquents.
Yeah.
To which the kids say, like, fuck you. I'm going to get some weed. These kids, however, become heroes of the film.
They do.
They notice the girls running away and Janice chasing them. And they just straight up jump Janice, snatch her wig, and beat the shit out of her outside this apartment complex.
Yep. And then they go into the grandma's apartment. And do they attack Lucius there?
I can't remember exactly the beat by beat because it's honestly very drawn out and so many plot points happen.
Yeah.
But like there's a final confrontation involving Lucius, the girls, the new husband, Madge, the grandma, Janice,
the neighborhood kids.
The neighborhood kids who come in the apartment and start like grabbing the gun from Lucius.
It's crazy. And I think everybody in that room touches the gun once.
Me and Devin at this point were just yelling at the TV like, don't let him get the gun. Don't let him get the gun.
They let him get the gun.
Which they did. We were like, how did they let them get the gun?
Yeah.
How did they let Lucius get the gun?
The white husband came in with a baseball bat and does a very terrible job.
Oh, like T-ball.
Swinging it.
This MF couldn't play T-ball.
He says something really funny.
Yep, I wrote it down.
Thank you.
I didn't actually take a ton of notes, but yes, I wrote this down. Here's what he says. He comes in wielding a baseball bat, and he says, before, mind you, he swings at Lucius multiple times and misses. He yells, "What is this? A psychotic fool?"
Oh, Kenya.
Like that is like the bad dub of a Dragon Ball Z episode. Or like the bad subtitle track of a Dragon Ball Z episode. Like a fan translation.
And this fight lasts about as long as a fucking Dragon Ball Z episode.
Does.
They're brawling for like 20 minutes. At the end of the fight, there's a shot where they sort of pan across the room and just everybody is knocked unconscious on the ground. But it is Lucius's oldest daughter who ends the fight by shooting Lucius several times.
And then you realize, and this is Kenya Cagle's brilliance, she had been playing the gun video game the entire movie.
Right. Yep. I didn't even put that together.
Yep. She has
video
a good shot.
game violence saved her life.
And she's so good at the game, she's able to shoot him like 5 times.
Her own
and
father.
Miss all the vital organs. Because in the following scene, he is perfectly healthy and being sentenced to 8 to 15 years in prison, upon which everybody celebrates that we'll never have to see him again.
Doesn't seem that long. I don't know.
They say that, and then Madge, I think, right after says, like, you're never going to see the light of day again. And it's like, they just said 8 to 15 years.
It was so confusing because right before that, the judge goes, I have no choice but to sentence you to the max. And it cuts to Lucius rolling his eyes.
He just
also the max for what? He did so many crimes.
I know.
He did so many crimes. And let's be real. He's like, oh no, sentenced to like a decade of like clapping cheeks for fucking 10 years. A decade of like no strings attached of gay sex orgies.
Orgasmic gay sex.
Yeah. Like he is it's not a punishment, folks. Not in the world of a father dad.
This is why he was lashing out so much when he got out of prison. He couldn't handle. Life is too hard on the outside.
Well, it was 2006. Like Grindr hadn't been invented yet, you know?
Yeah.
So like the only thing he could do is like try to get back with his baby mama.
Have you ever thought about going to prison?
Yeah. I could do it.
For all the no strings attached.
Yeah. I read the, what's her name? That scammer lady.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
The young one.
Sure.
Oh, you read her book?
The Bling Ring?
I didn't read her book. She was writing articles about her prison life. Do you know who I'm talking about?
The one who is scamming
Russian
people
lady.
in New York, and then she said her parents were like,
don't worry, I'm
like
Googling
rich
scammer lady.
German like farmers or something. And
What I don't get about his prison is if you're
Anna Delvey.
Anna Delvey. In my head, I was saying Cara Delevingne, and I was like, that's not it.
Close. Well, just that my only thought about her was she wrote some very fascinating articles about her time in prison, and she basically says like it's a great time to like get your reading done and like think about what you want to do with your life.
Yeah. Agreed.
We could all use a little.
Was it in this movie or something else I watched within the past few days where one of the characters is talking about how he has his degree now, and they're like, nobody cares, you got that in prison.
That was
that's
this
in this
movie.
Okay.
Yeah, they said they can see that you got it in prison, so it doesn't matter. What I don't understand is if you're straight and you go to prison, you don't want to have gay sex. Why don't you just tell them you're straight?
Well, why wouldn't you want to have gay sex?
Because you're straight.
But
And
it's prison.
The idea of that makes you sick to your stomach.
Is that true?
It does to me. I get nauseous. Every time I look at you, I get sick. Every time I watch you have gay sex through the various cameras that I've set up inside your apartment.
You're like, oh no, not again.
I'm flipping through channels. I'm on Pluto streaming, and I get to the Ash house cam.
You're like, oh,
I'm
God.
sick. I'm gonna puke.
angles.
Like John Taffer voice. It's disgusting.
Shut it down.
But I guess if you have bisexual inclinations, and then you're there, and it's like a free bussy buffet, and then it's like, what else are you gonna do? And I guess it's not against the rules.
Exactly. Well, if you're bisexual, you don't have any rules. Bisexuals stay winning.
Maybe.
Yeah, Lucius's life seemed way more complicated on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the thing with the guy getting into a fight and falling off the construction tower?
So that was the character who I called Unk, even though that was not his name.
Yeah.
And he's at the job, and a woman runs up to him. I don't remember if this woman is elsewhere in the film. And she starts screaming at him. And she says, "I'm HIV positive."
Mm.
And then they struggle and scream, and then she falls off the bridge.
I think they both did.
But
I
he
heard
was
both
in
of
later
them
in the
screaming.
movie. But it could have been a flashback.
He survived.
But but it could have been a flashback because this movie was non-linear at times.
Right. Oh, maybe he pushed her off and that's how he went to jail. That's why he went to jail. But they were wearing the... Never mind.
Well, the only thing was, I thought that moment was because they were having gay sex in prison.
Mm.
And some of them contracted HIV. And then when they got out of prison, they were having sex with women, and therefore the women contracted HIV.
Interesting how they seemingly had sex with each other, but it was never brought up that Lucius had HIV.
Yeah, I don't know if...
And he would have given it to the mom when he SA'd
Well,
her.
that's what I that literally crossed my mind. I was like, is he gonna have her HIV? Yeah. I guess it's not. I'm not like 100% if like he and Unk like had sex, but I don't know if like Unk meant that like the stuff that we did in prison, or we just like the stuff that we collectively did.
Oh yeah.
It's really hard to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
at
this construction part in slow-mo right now, and I cannot tell if both of them fall off or not.
Looking at the play.
At least she does for sure. I'm just scrubbing back and forth. It's a weird cut.
What happens?
Say.
What happens at the end of this? That was at the end of this movie.
They are all hugging. And they say, I texted it to you. They say they're all hugging and happy at home. And the white guy looks at he doesn't look at the camera. He just proudly announces, as his whole family is embracing each other, he says, "Now we're a family again. Nothing can tear us apart." And literally roll credits right after that. Powerful stuff.
Father, dad.
Amazing.
Yeah, I know. Like the daughter writes him a card. It's very cute. So we did make it all the way through the film. Are there any other? I mean, there's so many insane parts of this movie. Are there any other lines or moments or themes in this movie? I mean, I will say I believe this is the first time we've had like a full sex scene in a Christian film, or a rape scene.
I thought he whipped his dick out.
There were like sex scenes too, though. Like
4.
Oh yeah, there's sex and sexual assault. It was basically something for everybody in this film.
Here's a funny line, referring to Lucius making pornographic edits of Madge's husband. He says, "I took his head and I put it on other people's bodies, and voila."
Oh man, we said I know computers inside and out.
I love that part. Oh, here's a good line. The daughters are saying, they're trying to explain their situation to the kids in the neighborhood after they're chased out of the apartment. And one of the girls says about her father, "He raped her and we saw it on TV." And one of the kids goes, "Reality TV?" Like what?
Oh my God.
And that's just the end of that conversation.
So fucking funny.
Um,
Yeah, I got
This
nothing
guy,
else.
Kenya Cagle
Everybody
could
should
be
watch
a-
this movie.
this movie's
He
so
would be like the
funny.
funniest filmmaker ever if he could harness this insane understanding of the human language. The human language that is English.
Maybe he needs a co-writer, but also maybe he like doesn't need anyone's help because like according to that
Right.
article that Scott sent from blackenterprise.com. Wait, so I just read what you texted us closely. He says his movie production revenue in 2006
Yeah.
was $460,000.
Yes. And on
How?
IMDb, it says this very movie we just watched, made $250,000 at the box office, which I don't understand how
Whoa.
that could be true. Like, where did it play?
Congratulations, man.
Yeah. Like, that's like, what
that's
did
seriously
what did this movie
impressive.
cost?
This might be one of the most profitable films of all time.
Yeah.
Props to him. Let us know your secret.
It's like Skinamarink or Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Do you think he counts like his wedding filmography as his? Doesn't he film weddings too?
Yeah,
Maybe.
if I remember correctly,
As some of his
his
film
production
revenue?
his video production was like, yeah, he did like events and custom things. I can't remember the number, but I'm pretty sure we looked at his website and his quotes were like very expensive.
Do you think we could probably find some like podcast blog that we could just be like, yeah, we make like $600,000 a month in Patreon,
Sure.
and they'd be like, okay, come on, talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. A fun fact of life is you can tell a website anything.
Yeah.
But I would love, I mean, the concept of money and the concept of deserves are both very subjective things, but I believe Kenya Cagle deserves $460,000 in the year 2006.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say it's better that it went there than, other places. The Iraq War, for instance.
Oh, don't even get me started. What was the last movie he made?
The most recent one.
He's such a
Cineapple, I think, is the
striking-
last one he finished. I know he has multiple in the works.
He's such a striking visage.
Oh yeah, I legit think he looks amazing. Like he should be like a character actor in Hollywood. Like he just like, I don't know, he just has like a very unique face that's also like it's like very symmetrical yet like extremely distinctive. I don't know. He's a very cool. He could have been like in The Matrix or something. Like a cool like dystopian sci-fi movie or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. He looks cool.
Yeah, looks like Cineapple was the last thing he did. Produced a TV series in 2020, 3 episodes. Here's a new. The Boy Who Saw Christ was 2023.
Oh yeah, that one
And he
was
has a short called "Empowering Students."
Well, he is an elementary school teacher, I believe.
This man is an elementary school teacher.
Well, it's like 10, I think like 10 to 12-year-olds.
These kids, they're gonna turn out all right.
I agree.
It said one of the things they do in the class too is submit the film to a film festival, and get it on a streaming service, which that's a good thing to learn. I want to learn how to put things on Tubi. See what I can get away with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, do you make a lot of money off Tubi?
if a lot of people watch it. One of our friends told me that Tubi pays by the minute. So per minute of that people watch your thing, you are getting paid.
I wonder if it's still like that.
That's a good question. It might have changed.
And what do you get paid? Like what, 15 cents a minute or something? Or
I don't know, but I know it's like it's a more fair rate than other places, because like most of the Netflix had like a lot of like lower budget movies for a while, but they just get like nothing pretty much. So I think that's why they have a lot less now. I don't even know what Netflix has now, because it's like a gajillion dollars a month.
yeah, I haven't watched it.
Fuck Netflix.
And God knows how long.
Is there even one Kenya Cagle movie on Netflix?
No, there's nothing on Netflix. Basically, if something is on Netflix, it's not. It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Hulu is pretty solid, and they haven't cracked down yet. So, like, get a friend or family member's Hulu account. I've been using one for years at this point.
Okay.
But there is some stuff. I don't actually get stuff on Prime that much, but there are things that are just on Prime, like this movie we watched, for example, and like the movie I watched last Sunday, Mommy's Little Princess, which is another good psychotic parenting situation movie.
Okay.
It was good. It was because I was gonna watch Mommy's Little Murderer, which I guess they changed the title to Mommy's Little Girl, but you can still find the Mommy's Little Murderer poster. These are Lifetime movies. And then when I was looking that up, Mommy's Little Princess came up. And so that was about an adopted 10-year-old who her mom
Turns
to make
out to
her
be like 30.
No, I've seen that though too. But there's her mom who adopted mother. She's like wants her daughter to feel better, to feel special, so she gets 23andMe, or what do they call it in the movie? I think it's My Genes in Me. Or no, they call it My Genes in Me, but then on the label it said Me and My Genes. And then she finds out that she's from German nobility, and then she immediately just like turns into like a total diva. Like, I'm a princess, you have to do what I say. I kind of think it was a pretty
This
good
was
kid
not
actor.
a horror movie.
No, it was they kind of like adjusted appropriately for the age, even though it was still clearly geared towards like moms like myself. So it was nobody actually died. She would like set up and do things that like you're like, oh my god, is she gonna kill that person? But then they would just get like really hurt.
Oh. That's good.
It was funny reading reviews afterward though. Like it was like all negative reviews on Letterboxd, which was crazy to me because it's like, if you've seen a Lifetime movie before, you'd be like, oh, this is a good Lifetime movie. Anyway, but people were like saying like this girl should have suffered worse consequences at the end. It was like, she's like a 10-year-old, like traumatized, like mentally ill child. You want her to like go to prison or like get murdered?
People have no sympathy. People have no empathy. There's two things that are interesting about what you said. One is that people have no concept of form. Like, to be a connoisseur, to be a critic of something, you have to understand the form. Like, that's why I would trust you, Scott, why I would trust your opinion of a Lifetime movie rather than like a Letterboxd opinion of a Lifetime movie. Because you could be like, oh yeah, this one sucked, or like, this one did a lot of things within the context of the Lifetime movie that like no other film has.
Exactly.
And second of all, people have no sympathy for hypothetical like little kids.
No.
A little girl is like not an adult. That's why it's like she shouldn't get the electric chair if she's mean.
They don't have sympathy for real life. They don't have to be hypothetical.
Right. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, it ends with her being like truly sorry and realizing that she has like a good family and doesn't need to be a princess. Like isn't that what we want? They all got better. It all worked out. Just
I
like
think
in
that's what we
Father
want.
Dad. What did you say the last line was again, Julian?
They say,
Oh, now we're a family again. Nothing can tear us apart.
Yes.
yep.
That's what we want.
Well, what do we think? Should we give Father Dad the official Boys Bible Study review?
Ooh.
Eh?
After watching a couple other Kenya Cagle movies that I loved, but that were much more recent, I thought 2006, how sharp is this guy going to be? Will I be as entertained and satisfied as the other two? Absolutely. Maybe more so. I think I kind of have like Kenya Cagle recency bias where I always think the most recent one I saw is the best one I've seen. They're all great though. He's a great
They're really
filmmaker.
good.
I was delighted to watch this. My only regret is that I didn't just pay for the Amazon movie permanently instead of renting it. But I'll gladly give Kenya Cagle more money. And I'm going to give this was through and through a Cagle Vision production, but I noticed in the credits there was not one, not two, but 3 directors credited. And then I looked at IMDb to see who it was, and there were 5 directors credited. So I'm going to give this the best score I can think of. 5 out of 3 directors.
That's Cagle Vision.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this an 8 to 15 out of 8 to 15 years in prison, because let the punishment fit the crime. She was gonna give the maximum number of minimum sentences for the cornucopia of crimes committed by Lucius Santana in the span of like a week. He was busy.
Yeah, he did a lot of crimes. He really made up for lost time. As for me, I love this movie. I can't decide if I preferred this one or The Boy Who Saw Christ. I feel like The Boy Who Saw Christ was like just so watchable and like new, so it kind of like, hit a little harder for me. But this movie had just so many amazing moments, so many amazing lines. I loved the gay subplot. It was incredible. Also very risque for a Christian film, which we love. Gonna have to give this film 50 out of 50 chance of being uncircumcised because, it was just a lucky guess.
So does he like Lucius was watching him
Yes.
with his uncircumcised dick?
Yes. Yeah, Lucius watched them for a long time.
That's so
He explicitly said that he like saw him with his like, I can't remember what he said. Like I saw him with his ass out all the time.
he is so gay.
Yeah, he's really gay.
It's so crazy. He's like bragging about spying on a man being naked in his own bedroom.
Yeah. And he's like talking about how he used to like, make men scream and his name in prison and stuff. He's fruity.
More power to him.
I guess.
Hey, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Well, Father Dad, happy Father's Day to all of our father listeners. And if you would like to be a father to us, why don't you check out patreon.com/boysbiblestudy. If you like what we do, please support us and get access to bonus content so you can listen every single week. On Sundays, we drop episodes. Special thanks to our patron saints at the $20 tier of Patreon: Nicole, Marissa, Jeff, Rhett, and Mark. Thank you very much. Also, our outro music is the song "Oh My God" by Mary. So from all of us here at Boys Bible Study, myself, Father Ash, my co-hosts, Father Scott and Father Julian, we would like to say peace be with you.
And also also with you. I don't have one this time.
I don't know either.
Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. I feel your love in me, it's coming from within. Oh my God, my devotion is so unwavering. Divine emotions when you enter me. Every day you take